Hello explorers and welcome to another video. Today we're going to talk about MOS. And this is an open source project that should be a replacement or similar for Proxmox in the future, because it's still beta software, it's still version 0.10 something, so they haven't really released it yet, but there is a software that is usable at the moment, and I talked about it in my Cozy News Network podcast, and I was really curious about it, so I wanted to try it out. So if we switch over to my screen here, this is a virtual machine where I have installed this, and the way you can install it is either by an install USB, or you get an image that you can use in your virtual machine, and those are pretty much similar. It's the full Linux distro with MOS, independent on if you put it on a USB or not. So if you put the USB in, it will just boot up and run the software, and then you can install it to a hard drive. Or if you're using the image, it will boot it up like this. So the first thing you get to when you are starting this up is actually to a login screen. I'm not sure if I can even log out now. Yeah, you do it over here. So if you log out, I have the admin, QWERTY as just test password. Did I not type that correctly? Yeah, TY. And I've chosen dark mode, so it's actually having a light mode as well. But if we go back to the dashboard here, so here we have some statistics on how it's running currently and a little bit about the machine and so on. Currently I'm just running it as a virtual machine with 2 cores, and 2 cores are the minimum you need for the system. So you need at least 2 cores to run it at all. And then we have disk pools over here and so on, and also memory utilization. Then we can look into disks. So I've put in 2 extra drives in this, 100 gigabytes of drives. And we don't have any pools, so we should be able to assign disks to a pool. So we can create a new pool, and we can say that this should be a multi-pool. And we can say that we want to have both these devices here in this multi-pool, and it should be using RAID 1 or RAID 0 or RAID 5 could do, and we could choose a file system. So let's do a test pool here, and we don't need to format or anything. Multiple device has no usable file system. Okay, so let's format these. Let's put a file system on these and see if we can use them after that. Took a while for them to format that drive. Let's format the other drive and also put XFS on those. And now we should be able to create a pool here. Multi. We say that we want both drives. We want to have RAID 1. And we call it test. Let's see if that works. And now we have a pool. And it's not mounted. So let's see. Let's mount the pool. Yeah, so now we have a mounted pool with 2 drives. So that seems to work pretty nice. And it's 100 gigabytes of space because, of course, they are mirrored. So if one goes out, we have the other one. And if we look at the MOS hub here, we have shares, so we can create Samba share at NFS share here. It's pretty much just choosing the pool, choosing a directory, usage rights, and so on. I've tried this, and this worked just fine. So we could go up one step and just take that directory, or we could go into that directory and perhaps create a new directory. Action, no. I don't see how you can create a new directory. But of course you can do it to the only directory that you have, and then create it it should be available as an SMB share, pretty much. So very simple. Just delete that again. Then we have something called the MOS hub. And if you go in here and you don't see anything, you need to push this refresh repositories, and that takes a while. So they have a bunch of these repositories here where they can find different templates for installation media. And most of these that are in here are Docker templates. There are a couple of these plugins. So for instance, DVB drivers, if I wanted to have that, I could go in here and say that I want version 1 and install, and then that plugin would be available under plugins. So that is graphic drivers and similar things that you can put in here if you want to use that. And then under tools, we can reboot the system and shut it down. We could go into terminal. So we should be able to see things here. I wonder if, yeah, we have this test directory here. So here we can go in and create a new directory if we want to have somewhere to put our Samba share, for instance. And then under settings, you have a bunch of stuff as well. So here we have possibility to update the system or update the kernel. I actually did an update system and that worked just fine. So I went from version 0.09 to 0.10. And that worked just fine. We could add more users and so on to the system. The MOS hub here, we can say how often it should be updated. And then we could add different services over here, Docker service, LXC service, VM service. We could have different interfaces here for network drivers and so on. And then over here we can have USB devices and different things. We can add more sensors. So on this dashboard, if we look at the dashboard here, we can say that we want to see more things. We can add more sensor information. But currently we're just seeing the pools and disks as well. But in settings, if you want to use virtualization things, you actually need to go in here and say, I want a Docker service. So I turn that on and it will create that service that is available to me. And if I want to have an LXC service, I need to start that as well, or else I can't use it. And last but not least, the VM service, we need to enable that as well. And now we have more things to do here. So now we can go in and look at the Docker containers. We can go into LXX, and here we could create a new. So let's say that I want an Alpine Linux, that release on AMD 64, my host or something like that. And if I create that, we have an LXC container available to us, currently stopped. But if I start it, and then I should be able to go in and look at the terminal. And here we have a MOS terminal. And if we go to etc, we can see that we have the Alpine release here. So we can actually see what is running. If we shut it down, can I do that? Nope. We have a reboot. Yep. I could reboot it if I want to. Yeah, but it's just for fun. This is something that you can install and do stuff if you want in this system. So now we've killed that, and I can. And next up, we can check out the VMs. So here we can create a VM as well. And you can choose a different machine type and how much memory you want to use. Give it a name. You can add CD-ROMs and disk drives and virtual drives if you want to do that, or virtual I/O drivers and so on. I'm not sure if I can actually add anything here now because this is a virtual machine in a virtual machine, so I'm not sure that it actually will allow me to install things here. But yeah. I hope that this just works. I would really much be very... I really think that this works pretty much. But we can check out Docker. So in the Docker containers here, we have a bunch of options. We can add containers, we can add something with Docker Compose, we can add a Docker group, we can check for the sort and wait times, we can remove unused images if we don't have anything that is running at the moment, and we can check for updates and see if there is any Docker container that isn't up to date. And when it comes to Docker Compose, you pretty much just give it a YAML here and environment variables and so on, and then it will get that up and running for you. So there is a pretty simple way of getting custom things in here, but I would like to look at this hub and see if I can install anything that could be fun to have just running here. Let's see, we can. Apache Tika, is that a container? Let's see if we can install that. Let's try it. No template, name, and so on. Yeah, let's try that, see if that is available, and it's pulling an image for me. See if it can get it up and running. I wonder if I can close this, because it should be a background process, right? Not really sure if I need to look at this. Let's see if we look under Docker here, anything will show up. Yeah, so there we have that. It is created. Let's see if we can do something else here. If there is something that is visible, like a web server, something like that. But isn't that large, just something that we can visit and see that it works. It should be something like an Nginx or something like that, right? Pi-hole. Where do we have that? Nginx. Proxy manager. Well, Open Web UI. Something we can run. A Pi-hole. Let's try that. Install a Pi-hole. Always good to have. Let's see. Now it's pulling that. Let's go back to the Docker hub here. This is running now. So this is bridged and it's running. So I wonder if I can just go to this address and this port and get into it. Could that be a thing? Yeah. So I have an Apache Tika here under that port. Just up and running. Nothing to it. Let's see if we can do the same for a Pi-hole here. So we have a Pi-hole that has port 67. Why 67? 67. Nothing there. Yeah, we have port 8155. Let's see. Yep. Access denied. Go to the dashboard. So here we can go and log in. So I could install a Pi-hole. So it's pretty capable, I would say. You can do a lot with this MOS at the moment. Even though it's beta software and not really ready for prime time yet, it's still a very capable system with a lot of functionality. And I'm looking forward to see where they go next with this. And of course, everything that you do here, you get notifications for. If the system goes down unexpectedly and so on, they keep notifications for that as well, which is great if you want to know what actually happened. And another thing that I really liked here was the logs. Here you can just choose a log file and you see anything in that log file. Very useful as well. So overall, I really like this experience. What did you think about MOS? Leave a comment in the comment section down below. Or if you like this video, give it a like, share it with your friends and colleagues. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do that. And I really want to see you in the next video.